In this video, we're going to talk about how to bring in the Excel data and various types of data that you guys have prepared and created last week, how to bring into ArcMap and work with it. So I've got ArcMap open, it's blank, but before I open up anything, I just want to bring up, this is the zip file that was on Lalima that you should have downloaded and unzipped. When you do that, you should get a file folder that looks like this, and inside you should see data that look like these. So there are 3 folders here. Each of these is associated with a Trimble. Trimble 1, Trimble 2, and Trimble 3. This is Trimble 3 had the external antenna on it. And then a bunch of other files, Excel files, and then this is an actual image. This file right here, one README metadata, I'll go ahead and open that guy up. This is a file that I made where I just basically included the notes and things that you guys submitted along with the email where you gave me the data here. So this is from Robin Rudolph, phone, motion, GPS X, blah, blah, blah. Here are the points for the perimeter and the cross for my phone for the G. So you know what's going on with, anyway, that's background information for those files. These folders associated with the Trimble data, these guys already have, I'll just go through here, in the export folder of each of these, you've got shape files already ready to go. Just drop it into ArcMap, no problem at all, no processing needed. Aside from, as you'll see, all of the names for each of these files from, this is whatever, Trimble 1, and they had 2 different files. One was Fall 16 Cross 1, then they did the perimeter. If you look at the actual shapefile associated with each of these, it's called .ge. For the perimeter one, it's also called .ge. So you can bring these guys into ArcMap, but when you do, I would suggest renaming it so you know what you're looking at. But for some of these other guys, for this one, for example, if you look at this one, this is from Somai, you can see that it's nice, right? So he's got the data, he's got a field here, there's no information for these guys, and then he's got another field here talking about accuracy. Okay, this is an important point to make about bringing in Excel data into ArcMap. ArcMap can't handle it if you've got cells at the top here along the field that have no name. Okay, it wants there to be names associated with all of the different fields. And so if you would try to input this into ArcMap, you would get an error. And that's an important point to make. Here's the cross diagram. Same thing. If this guy's got a header or just a title for the column, but these other guys don't, it's not going to be happy. In addition, we can see we've got these values here, right? But what is this number, right? So this is 281903, and this is this guy. So what do those numbers actually mean? Well, that's a good question. An easy way to check on this is to bring up something like Google Earth, and so that's what I'm doing here. And if I bring Google Earth up and I zoom over to Hilo, zooming in, I've got a bunch of junk here, but if I keep zooming in, what I can see here on campus, right, is, and if I look down here, this gives me these numbers, right? So if I move up and down, well, that's interesting, right? I'm seeing big changes in the northing, and if I move this way, I see big changes in the easting. So this 28 number is going to be our easting. This 217 whatever number is going to be our northing. So this is going to be our easting. Let me enable editing for this guy. All right, so this guy is going to be our easting. If I could spell properly, that would be helpful. So I'm actually typing this in here so that they all have something. This is going to be my northing. And this is going to be my error, I assume, just from the other one. Okay, and so this is for the cross diagram. This is from Silmai's data. So I'm going through and I'm doing some editing, because if I don't edit and put this information up here, ArcMap is going to be very sad. Okay, so easting, northing. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to put this up in here, easting, northing. Again, I'm giving them all information on the header, and then these are the point names, I assume. It's good to make sure that there are no weird backslashes or exclamation marks or anything, or even just dots. You just want these to be, and actually sometimes it doesn't like it if there's spaces. So I'm actually going to change this name to put underscores instead of spaces, because ArcMap is touchy like that, and sometimes if you have spaces it is unhappy. Okay, so I've edited Silmai's data, and I'm going to say save, and then I'm going to close it. and I'm going to minimize this metadata guide. I'm going to get back to ArcMap, and now I'm going to try to bring in this data. And to do that, I'm going to go to not just add data, which is the normal one that we would use, but it's special. It's XY data. It's text data. So we go to File, Add Data, Add XY Data. And so now I need to navigate to wherever that data file is. And so I happen to already be there looking for this one. And it's under Silmi. I know that. And you're given choices of which sheet you actually want to work with. It would be better if these sheets were actually named. This was the cross data and this is the perimeter. They're not named, so I'm just going to go with what we have. And because I renamed those file fields, what it should be able to see is, okay, the X field is the easting, fine. The Y field, I should be able to find it. That's the northing. There is no Z field. Right now it's saying unknown coordinate system, but I know the coordinate system. So I'm going to actually edit that, and I'm going to bring up what I want it to be is WGS, NAD, AD. Actually, let's go through the whole thing. So let's say you don't have these favorites. So projected coordinate system. It's a UTM because it's meters. That means it's projected. So I'm going to let me cancel this and start it over. So here I am. It says unknown. I know what it is. So I want to enter that in. I hit edit. It's a projected coordinate system. I scroll down to UTM, and typically it's WGS 84, Northern Hemisphere. Look how buried all this information. We're in Zone 5 North. This is what you want, so you might have to replay that to see. You say, okay, awesome, and then I say, okay, and then it gives me this error. It's fine. I say, okay, there are the points. Well, this is very exciting, right? These are the points. But the points are in white space. That's not very helpful. So I actually, still in that file, I do have an image. I've got this UHH quad guy. So I'm going to add that in. And if I zoom out, there they are. That should be the cross. Doesn't look too much like a cross to me. But at the very least, we have brought in XY data, right? This is Silmi's data for the cross. And we've got this guy here. So fantastic. If you want to, and I might suggest this, you could export this data. Hit export data. You want to, because this is like weirdly held and it's reading it from the Excel spreadsheet. It'd be much better if it saved it as a shapefile, for example, or even within a geodatabase. It depends what you're feeling comfortable for. So I'm just going to put it in work, and I'm going to call mine. I'm going to do it in work, and I'm going to call it Silmi. Let's see if this works. I'm going to say X for cross. And then I'm going to say, okay. Do I want to? Yes, I do. And so now I don't have to worry about this weird Excel thing that's read in, this one-time deal. I'm going to remove that. Now I've got Silmi, and I can change the symbol. I'm going to get like a big green. Now we're talking, right? So this is the GPS data that Silmi brought in after it's been processed. If I want to compare that to the Trimble data, I can just go to where I was. Let's look at the Trimble data from Trimble 1 under Export, the cross, and you can see it's this point GE. Oh, that purple looks a little bit more like a cross, and I'm going to rename this so I know what I'm talking about. This is Trimble 1 cross. I don't know whose group this is. They didn't name it by the group, but this is Trimble 1 cross. Anyway, so this is a good, hopefully, tutorial on how to bring data in and start to play with it in ArcMap.